Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome once more to another video podcast of the PNTLIVE network. A lot of you probably wonder, what does PNT stand for? Political news time. I guess it could also stand for putting new thoughts in your mind. That's what it could stand for. I'm not sure at times what things stand for, whether or not it even really matters. But what does matter to me is that all of you find these little podcasts in the morning of value, useful, informative, something along those lines. If you take a look at my Twitter, at Alex Mayers Live this morning, you will see that last night somebody decided to post a little bit of suicide coercion directed towards me. Considering that suicide coercion appeared immediately after I decided to start sharing my thoughts in regards to a public figure known as Vanguard, that's not good. So to the individuals who think that it's funny or productive or useful in some way, shape, or form to consistently say that I should kill myself, you're actually hurting your position by doing so. You're hurting whatever your agenda is by saying these things, because you're just confirming what myself and what many others who have observed quite a few unscrupulous behaviors within the entertainment industry have said for years. So let's go ahead and put that to a stop. Now, this morning, I'm going to just read to you all a fairly interesting article that I found on a website called moralrevolution.com. And the title of the article is 7 Signs of an Unhealthy Soul Tie. I think that's an appropriate article for me to read this morning, because this morning, despite it all, I woke up feeling really good. I woke up feeling that there's infinite possibilities. And I think that in part, I woke up feeling as I did because though I didn't in the past, as of current, I embody a lot of self-respect and self-love. And that's something that I think all of us in our society need to start embodying a lot more. Healthy love is what I'm going to be talking about in 2020. I know a lot of you look at me and you think, she'll never stop talking about the adult entertainment industry. Ooh, contraire, mon frère. I will stop talking about the adult entertainment industry because there's not really much else for me to talk about. Everything that I needed to present, I've presented, and I've proven some points. Really, when it comes to adult entertainment industry news going into 2020, the person that you need to look at is Sean Matthew Tompkins, aka TRPWL. He really is the adult entertainment industry's top blogger. He does a very good job. Very good job. And I'm very confident in him transforming that world into a far safer place for all the young men and women who are in that world. I really do. What a lot of people don't realize about him is that the interaction between he and I could have gone far differently than it did. He and I have never met in person, you know. I wanted to meet him in person. Initially, he wanted to meet me in person, and he said that we were forever linked. That was back in, I'd say, 2009. This year, I wanted to meet him because tables have turned a little bit, but he doesn't want to meet me, and it's for the best, probably. But people should listen to him in that world. Listen to him, because as different as he and I are, We are actually a lot more similar than I think many people realize. But anyway, let me go ahead and read this article. Again, it's called 7 Signs of an Unhealthy Soul Tie. And I want to share this article because a lot of times when an individual elects to leave the adult entertainment industry or the entertainment industry, or even if they decide to break the habit of an addiction, immediately upon cutting that tie, oftentimes such an individual feels very alone, isolated. They don't know why. They don't know why they're craving whatever it is that they're trying to get away from so much anymore, or so much, even though they didn't even really like whatever it is that they were addicted to or whoever it is that they were with. And this article explains spiritually a bit about why it can be hard to leave either an abusive romantic relationship, friendship, work environment, lifestyle, why it can be hard to break a habit such as smoking, for example. But this particular article really does focus on sex. And one thing I found upon leaving the adult entertainment industry was that getting away from that world, it's been like leaving a really abusive guy. And I thought to myself, why is this? Why is this so weird? You have to be careful with who you have sex with in this life. A lot of times people think that sex is just physical. That's what the adult entertainment industry teaches. It's not. There's a lot more to the act of sex than the powers that be want you out there to be aware of. It's a lot more to it. Always remember, everything about the adult entertainment industry is a lie. They say they're freedom of speech. No. Stifling speech. Look at how many people have been trying to knock my social media offline because they don't like what I have to say. And keep in mind, I'm just an individual. I am not linked to any organizations, nothing. I'm just Alexandra Mayers sharing my thoughts here in the morning. But yeah, they've been trying to silence me, so we know freedom of speech isn't real. Adult entertainment industry is supposed to be for adults, but they keep infiltrating the gaming world. So again, that's a lie. And they're supposed to be depicting the act of making love, but in actuality, considering all the organized crime and abuse, it's the act of making hate. So, like I said, going into 2020, I'm going to focus on love. Romantic love and self-love. That's really all I'm going to be talking about. And a part of why I'm going to be doing that, and I will admit this, is because it does bother me to a degree that content I elected to participate in years ago under the guise of Monica Foster, content that I feel is only still online due to fraudulent contracts I was coerced to sign. I feel that that content has put out the wrong message for far too long. So I want anyone who was ever a fan of Monica Foster to not only be a fan of Alexandra Mayers, but believe in the words of Alexandra Mayers, because Alexandra Mayers believes in the words of Alexandra Mayers. So don't have sex, make love. And before I read this article, there's a challenge I want to issue to all the men out there who are looking to improve their life and break their addiction of pornography. All the single men out there who are claiming that you're having a hard time finding a date, but in actuality are being a little unrealistic. I challenge all the men out there watching me today who prefer women who are athletic or thin to ask out a woman who's slightly overweight. Yeah. And date her for a minimum of a month. The reason I say that is because a lot of times the only reason a woman is slightly overweight is because she's lonely. Okay? That's the only reason. 7 signs of an unhealthy soul tie. Soul ties. Sex is a tri-dimensional experience. Spirit, soul, and body. Anytime you have sex with a person, you bond with them. Dr. Daniel Amen writes in his book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. Whenever a person is sexually involved with another person, neurochemical changes occur in both their brains that encourage limbic and emotional bonding. Limbic bonding is the reason casual sex doesn't work for most people on a whole mind and body level. 2 people may decide to have sex just for the fun of it, yet something is occurring on another level that they might not have decided on at all. Sex is enhancing an emotional bond between them, whether they want it or not. One person, often the woman, is bound to form an attachment and will be hurt when a casual affair ends. One reason it is usually the woman who is hurt most is that the female limbic system is larger than the male's. This is what we call soul ties. Sex is like gluing 2 pieces of wood together and the next day ripping them apart. Of course, wood from the opposite board remains on each board. A piece of your sex partner, the good, bad, and ugly, stays with you, and vice versa, for the rest of your life. You can only imagine what it looks like when you bond with multiple partners. Unhealthy soul ties are often the ramifications of having partners that you create a lifelong bond with through sexual encounters, but with whom you only have a short-term relationship with. The bond or soul tie remains long after the relationship is over, leaving both sexual partners longing for wholeness. 3 reasons unhealthy soul ties take place. Number 1, people are misinformed and therefore convinced that sex is strictly a single-dimensional physical act with no emotional or spiritual connections. Yet after sex, they find themselves mysteriously longing for the person they may not even like. Number 2, a person, usually the woman, gives him or herself sexually to someone expecting that the intensely intimate act of intercourse will create a bond that would lead to deeper levels of commitment in their relationship. But soon, she discovers that her sexual partner was taking advantage of her need for intimacy and used her vulnerability to get laid. Of course, this leads to a person being emotionally and spiritually bonded to somebody that they deeply resent. Number 3, 2 people commit to marriage and therefore surmise that the covenant vows are only a formality. So they live together and enjoy a sexual relationship outside of a lifelong commitment. But later, they decide, for whatever reason, that they don't want to live in a covenant relationship and eventually break up. They usually don't realize how deeply they have wounded each other as their souls are ripped apart, tearing the very fabric of their being in the separation. I understand that there are hundreds of other reasons why unhealthy soul ties take place, but I am simply trying to give you a few examples. 7 signs that you have an unhealthy soul tie. Number 1, you are in a physically and or emotionally and or spiritually abusive relationship, but you feel so attached to them that you refuse to cut off the connection and set boundaries with them. I've seen that with a lot of women in the adult entertainment industry. Men too. Men too. Men too. Number 2, you have left a relationship, maybe long ago, but you think about the other person obsessively. You can't get them out of your mind. Number 3, whenever you do anything, make a decision, have a conversation with someone, etc., you feel like this person is with you or watching you. Number 4, when you have sex with someone else, hopefully your husband or wife, you can hardly keep yourself from visualizing the person you have a soul tie with. Number 5, you take on the negative traits of the person that your soul tie is tied to and carry their offenses, whether or not you actually agree with them. Number 6, you defend your right to stay in a relationship with the person that your soul is tied to, even though it is negatively affecting or even destroying the important relationships in your life, meaning relationships with, say, your husband, wife, kids, spiritual leaders, etc. And number 7, you have simultaneous experiences and or moods as the person your soul is tied to. This can even include sickness, accidents, addictions, etc. And there's a Bible verse in this article from 1 Corinthians 6:15. Do you not know that the one who joins himself to a prostitute is one body with hers? For he says, the two shall become one flesh. But there is hope. There is hope if you find yourself in an unhealthy soul tie. You can never fall so far that you can't be restored. New life is available to you by simply repenting and asking Jesus Christ to forgive you. Forgiveness restores the standard in our lives, and you can live in freedom and hope again. Originally published on chrisvaladen.com, and I'll put a link in the description of this podcast when I post it. But that was a good article, wasn't it? Be careful who you sleep with. And at the end of that article, it said that there is hope, redemption through Jesus Christ. There's also redemption through truly loving yourself and giving yourself time to heal, generally 7 years. So that's about it for today. Thank you for joining me as I broadcast here from Mount Olympus. Just kidding, maybe. Or am I? Don't I look a little familiar to you? Like, I don't know. Aphrodite, maybe? Just kidding. All right, have a great day, everybody. I'm going to have a good day. Lots to do, especially being that Christmas is coming up. But like I said before, if you are linked to the adult entertainment industry, please don't watch my podcast. Don't follow me. Don't communicate with me. Forget that I even exist. But if you are somebody who's outside of this world, I'm not going anywhere. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.